Here's Johnny.
So this is the second video in my little watching classic movies and reviewing them. I kind of need to think up a better title. Yeah, but this week I threw out a vote on my Facebook and my Instagram page. I'm going to link them below, by the way, in case anyone here wants to check those out. But yeah, I threw out a vote and it was between two films because I wasn't quite sure which to watch. It was 2001: A Space Odyssey and The Shining. As you can probably guess by the intro, this week I am going to be talking about The Shining. Crazy movie. So yeah, one of Jack Nicholson's most iconic roles. Jack Torrance, the murderous, crazy, psychopathic, spoiler alert, caretaker of the Overlook Hotel. Now again, like last week when I watched Jaws, I mentioned that I knew the storyline, I knew like all the beats, I knew a lot of what was going to happen because just basic references in other media and entertainment, and you can kind of gauge a lot about a movie, especially these classic movies, because they're everywhere. They are everywhere. The main one that really jumps to mind is The Simpsons, when they done the Shinning episode and just how incredibly crazy and good that was.
What do you think, Marge? All I need is a title. I was thinking along the lines of no TV and no beer make Homer something something.
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
But yeah, Jack Nicholson, he takes over a job as a caretaker of, like I say, the Overlook Hotel, where every winter they close down for several months. I can't remember exactly when it was. He was there for about 2 months, I believe. But basically, there was a story from a long time ago where one of the previous caretakers was he got cabin fever and kind of went stir crazy, and he ended up murdering his wife and daughters. The iconic girls that are in other media, I always thought they were twins. I was always under the impression they were twins. I'm pretty sure people even refer to them as twins, but they're not. They're two. They're older and one's younger. So that bit actually threw me because I was watching it and I thought, oh wow, they're not twins. But yeah, this guy murdered his wife and children, and Jack was told about this, and he basically said, look, I just want to be alone for a few months to, write a book. So this is perfect for me. Now, obviously, it's going to go wrong. We all know that. We all know from other references, but just it's obvious what's going to happen because Jack Nicholson, he looks crazy anyway, with his eyebrows and his smile. He already looks like a psychopath that you would not want to be left alone with. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. He's a great actor, multiple Oscars. So he's obviously a very, very good actor. But he looked mad anyway. So the fact that he went mad and didn't really change his facial expressions all that much wasn't surprising at all. It actually kind of made me laugh. Throughout the movie, as he's, losing grip on reality and losing his sanity and just losing his mind, his facial expressions are exactly the same as they was at the beginning of the movie, and it really cracked me up. This isn't supposed to be a funny movie, but a lot of these movies you can find joy out of, and you have to laugh at them because they're just so over the top hilarious. But yeah, he starts going mad because he's left alone, and I wasn't sure whether the references to the ghosts and all of the evil that is inside this hotel, whether that was just the story that he kind of concocted in his head because he needed to kind of find a reason for going crazy, and whether it was just his own mentality that was creating these ghosts that were in the hotel. Now, obviously, the child was seeing these things. I'll get to Danny in a minute. So it's kind of hard to understand whether there was actually spirits in this place or whether it was just his own coping mechanism for going insane. But towards the end, one of them lets him out of the freezer locker thing. So I'm assuming they are real and that they were actually haunting this hotel, and they kind of use that energy to take over his already fragile mind. Because towards the beginning of the movie, we was told that he was a recovering alcoholic because he hurt his child. It was all an accident, so he says, but he's obviously slipping before he even entered this hotel. He was looking for meaning and a purpose to life, which is why he wanted to write this book. So they must have latched onto that negativity that he already had in his mind to kind of, make him go crazy. And it obviously works, because towards the end of the film, he's trying to kill his wife and his child with an axe. Spoiler alert. He actually kills one guy. That was great. That poor guy. Oh, what was it? I can't even remember his name, but he only went there to help, and he literally just walked into a room and got an axe to his chest. Poor guy. Yeah, Danny, Doc, who has The Shining, and he sees these images. It took me a little while to understand whether they were real or not. But yeah, all of this sort of goes full circle, and obviously he has that connection with that guy that got murdered. Again, I can't remember his name. I do apologise. But they have this connection, so they know about each other. So Danny actually beacons to him for help, using his mind, his shining. So those powers, as we find out gradually throughout the film, are real. And yeah, at one point Danny actually goes into hiding, and he uses his imaginary friend Tony, which again I've seen referenced in many other movies, but to actually see it here, it really was impressive. This kid, I need to find out the kid's real name and if he's still acting, but he was incredible. He was so good. A kid of that age to be put under that much pressure in a big movie like this, a Kubrick movie, that is a lot of pressure for a kid, and he pulled it off so professionally, and it was such good acting. He really blew me away with his performance. And again, that Tony thing, his voice was just, it was amazing.
Shelley Duvall is a bad actress.
Tony, that's really rude. Sorry about that. But yeah, that kid was really, really good. And again, Jack Nicholson was amazing as well, because he, as I said, he's a multi-time Oscar winner. Everything that man does is just so powerful. And even in this, even though, again, he already looks insane, his progression to being just certifiable is just so impressive.
What about Shelley?
Okay. I did not enjoy Shelley Duvall's performance in this. I've not seen any other Shelley Duvall movies apart from one, I believe, and I don't even remember that movie. The whole time, it just sounded like she was reading lines off of a bit of paper with no emotion or any kind of oomph behind it. And the whole time I was watching this movie, I was wondering if it was just me, if I was just, not really getting caught up in it as much as what I should, and whether she was actually putting in a good performance. I know there's a lot of, I'm not sure whether they're rumours or whether they're fact about what went on behind the scenes with her and the director. I'm pretty sure he mentally tortured her, which I don't condone. But if he did that and that's the best performance he got out of it, he really needs to change his ways. But yeah, she was not good. And yeah, I actually felt bad for her. And then I felt bad for me for thinking about it. And then I looked on Google and she got nominated for a Razzie for this performance. A Razzie. Now, for people that don't know, a Razzie is like an anti-Oscar. The Razzies nominate people who are terribly bad at acting, and if they win, it means they are really bad at acting. And she didn't win, but she was nominated for this performance, which I think kind of justifies the feelings that I had throughout this whole movie, and just nails on a chalkboard when she was talking, and it was just, oh, it was terrible.
I told you.
All right, Tony, that's enough. But yeah, other than that, I mean, her performance aside, like, I kind of gave it a pass. There was a few things that she did in this movie that kind of made me go crazy as well. I don't know whether that, I don't believe that was her. I believe that was more due to the director. But that point where she's trying to put Jack in the big, it wasn't the freezer. It was where they keep all the dry goods. She was pulling on that handle for what felt like 10 minutes, and she's staring at it. And I know she's scared and under pressure, but even I could see that there was a pin that goes into the lock to stop you from opening the handle. She knows that as well, because she's been living there for several months. We even have scenes of her in that room getting food. So she knows that pin's there. That by that point, that should be second nature. And yet she's tugging on this handle for a long, long time. And then all of a sudden she goes, oh yeah, I'll take the pin out. Like, you know that. I know. Horror movie, you're scared. There's adrenaline running. You're under a lot of pressure. This guy's trying to murder you. You just hit him over the head with a bat, and he's your husband. And you're trying to drag him into this cupboard. You know the pin's there. Take it out. I mean, again, I don't know if it was her or whether it was the director's choice or whether he just saw that and thought, I'll leave it in because it kind of makes sense. It doesn't make sense. People aren't stupid. Even if you're being chased by a murderer, which he wasn't at this point. He was pretty much unconscious. She still didn't think to pull that pin out. That angered me quite a bit. And the other bit, right at the end, where Danny is running out of the maze after he's escaped Jack, and he's running towards his mum. She's running towards him because she sees him. You know, her great acting. Oh, Danny, wow, you're there. You're safe. She's carrying a big knife. She throws it to the floor. She can see Danny. She can see him coming, and there he's safe. She does not know that Jack is not 5 feet behind him. Why throw the knife down? Like, it's just, I get you going to hug your kid, but half an hour before that, she took the knife off of the kid and hugged him whilst holding the knife. Why would you throw it down at that point? At the very crescendo, when you know that this guy's after you and that he could have been just round that corner, and she throws the knife down like an absolute idiot. Now, again, I know horror movies, you're under a lot of pressure, there's adrenaline running and you don't know what you're doing. But surely you still have common sense and you have a brain. So I feel bad that I'm bashing her because, again, not all of these choices, they're not hers, but I'm going to have to go back and look at other horror movies and just kind of nitpick my way through. I'm like, what? Don't go up the stairs, go out the front door. Yeah, I mean, other than those few little things, this was a very enjoyable movie. Again, one of those ones where I regret not seeing it sooner. I wish I'd taken time out and actually watched it a long time ago. But yeah, it was really, really good. I want to try and watch the remake because I know Stephen King wasn't happy with this version. So I want to watch the remake and possibly read the book to kind of see the whole picture and see what's different between this version, the version that Stephen King liked, and the actual book. I'd like to see the correlation between all of those. And then at some point I'm going to watch Doctor Sleep because it carries on Danny's story and Ewan McGregor is an absolute delight. So yeah, at some point I'm going to catch up on Doctor Sleep and real sleep because I'm very tired. But yeah, Shining, not bad. Oh, the other thing I will recommend actually is if you're watching this, either watch it with surround sound if you're watching it on a TV, or if you're watching it like I did on a phone or a tablet, put headphones in because that score is so mesmerising, and there's a few little jumps in there where the music really does accentuate the kind of scariness of this movie. So wear headphones because it does jump at you, and a lot of the times there is, along with the music, there's an overlying heartbeat, and it is so it's so hypnotizing when you hear that heartbeat and you're waiting for something to happen, and it really does get to you, and it's really good. So yeah, wear headphones or use surround sound, because that will really accentuate the whole viewing process of this movie. Oh, and there's boobs in it as well. If you enjoyed this review, feel free to give me a like and maybe subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be back again next week because I'm really enjoying all these classics. But yeah, I'm going to add a link to my Facebook page and my Instagram. I want people to go along and vote on what movie I should watch next week. I'm going to put 2 options up. I'd love for you to, let me know which movie I should watch next. But yeah, thank you for watching and goodbye.